So before we start the class, Sushmita, what is external benchmark lending rate? Marginal cost of lending rate? Santosh?
For example, repo rate plus some kind of percentage is inside in the rate of interest to be used.
Yeah, give me the background of external benchmark lending rate. What is the purpose?
Earlier we used to had BPLR. Sir.
BPLR?
Yes.
What is BPLR?
I don't remember the formula, sir, but because of that, the monetary operations were not effective.
Okay.
Then RBI came up with MCLR. With MCLR, the formula is made such that it is we add that external benchmark rate, and the bank is given the choice to select which external benchmark rate do I want to select. It can be repo rate or else government.
That is MCLR?
Yes, sir. And with this formula, only they are supposed to lend. So it ensures better percolation of the monetary policy.
I think there is MCLR and there is also external benchmark lending rate. MCLR is not external benchmark lending rate, right?
No, sir. But in the formula of MCLR,
there
have
also
added external
benchmark rate. Okay.
So that the monetary policy is percolated well.
They changed how MCLR will work. That is what you are trying to tell.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Why did we introduce that concept? why this external benchmark lending rate?
So the monetary policy transmission was not quick.
What is monetary policy transmission?
Based on the market force, based on the economy, the RBI wants the flow of money to be controlled. So to let's say the RBI wants to promote more liquidity in the market, it lowers the repo rate. But because the banks has already given, because the banks did not find it profitable, they still retained the old rates for the retail consumers.
Is it profitable or to make more profits? So first of all, RBI will reduce the rates to
banks,
scheduled commercial banks, other banks. Then banks will give to consumer. So this entire chain is monetary transmission.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So earlier, even when the RBI is cutting the basis points, that means even if RBI is lowering the interest rates, banks here are not transferring that advantage to the consumers. So that is why they have brought in this external benchmark lending rate concepts, which are linked to what? Repo rate. Okay, and
government securities.
Government securities. GSEC yields. Okay, and T-bills.
T-bills yields.
T-bills are also there. You are sure about repo and GSEC, but not about
There.
Okay.
T-bills.
GSECs are there? Sure, for sure.
Yes, sir.
Think and tell me. Have you read it somewhere? If yes, where? Somewhere you must have read this entire concept, right? EBLR, MCLR, marginal cost of lending rates, bank rates. So you must be aware. Prelims questions will come from these application areas. So in today's Indian Express, there was an article regarding increase of MCLR. So recently, State Bank of India have finally increased the marginal cost of lending rate. So there was a time where people used to take loan on older interest rates, that is MCLR basis, the old formula. So now, because you have already given loan to them under the old formula, you cannot charge them under different interest rates. So this article says majority of the bank loans are from MCLR, the old one. Okay, and right now what we are following is external benchmark lending rates, which are linked to repo rates, G-Secs, and treasury bills. Okay, so that is a major thing. Why now? What is the link? The link is now that inflation have reached 30-year high. Wholesale price index is 30-year high. Okay, or since 1999 we haven't seen this kind of external shocks. So there is a huge amount of uncertainty that is going in the country. WPI, CPI, everything is increasing on a trot. So we need to control the inflation, but at the same time we should be very careful not to kill the green shoots. Yes or no? Indian economy is going through a recovery stage. In this stage, if I kill the green shoots or the investments, that will lead to what? That will lead to slowdown of entire economy. That is a much bigger problem. Right now we are having a problem in the format of inflation. So that healthy balance is what is needed for the country, where we balance growth and inflation. Yes or no? So these are the basic things that you need to understand. So it will make the existing loans a bit costlier. That might, that might affect the inflation in a small way. It won't kill the growth. It won't kill the green shoots. At the same time, it will make sure that everything is balanced. Now, any other prelims questions?
Extraditing the gangster.
Extraditing the gangster.
Extraditing the gangster. Portuguese in India. What prelims thread can you pull out of this?
The only prelims thread is either mutual legal assistance treaties, MLATs, and the linkage of CBI. That is the only linkage that I can think of, because extradition is a political. There are a lot of security issues, right? It's more or less useful for mains perspective rather than from prelims perspective. But all you need to know is what is mutual legal assistance treaty. What is MLAT? Have you heard about it? No. No. Think about it. I think you have.
In the case of Iran.
In other discussion also we have discussed. I said CBI is the apex body for Interpol and MCL, Mutual Legal Assistance Treaty. So when we are discussing about CBI, I did mention there is a concept called as Mutual Legal Assistance Treaty, where any two countries, India and some other country, entering into an agreement, will send the criminals back to India or vice versa. That means a British citizen have committed a crime in India or in Britain and he ran away to India, then India will deport him, the vice versa. So like this, we need to enter into contracts with certain countries. And the premier body is CBI.
Does CBI have extraterritorial
Jurisdiction? No, but that is arrangement between the two countries, right? I'm not punishing him in India. I'm sending back him to UK. Okay, Nirav Modi committed a crime in India. He escaped to UK. He will be brought back from UK to be punished in India. All I'm doing is asking the country to send him back.
And recently there was an article, the close aide of Nirav Modi was arrested from Laos by CBI. So CBI is working there.
Again, it's the same like MLAT. If MLAT is there, they will arrest. They will hand over him to CBI's custody. CBI will bring him back to India. Even for Interpol also, CBI is the apex body or link body. Anything related to Interpol has to go through CBI. Okay.
Then if the MIA has extraterritorial jurisdiction. So what does that mean, sir?
It means it can file, probe, do inquiry in some foreign soil. If a terrorist attack happens against the Indian citizen anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, this team can go there. Depending on the agreement with that country, they can also do the procedures and so on and so forth. So domestic financial conditions to tighten in coming months. So some questions on application, like to reduce the liquidity, what are the steps to be taken? Or to control the inflation, what are the steps to be taken? So again, the problem is India is going through a shock therapy, right? Like it's a systemic shock. Russia is external shock. All these are external shocks, not internal shocks. So why do I need liquidity? I need liquidity for investments. Investments lead to spillover effects and a virtuous cycle will be created. Let's say I have money, people are willing to buy, but because of inflation, they are not sure about it. So how do I reduce the inflation? Because as long as inflation exists, it will erode my savings. So people are not interested to invest. And our typical avenues like gold, silver, or lands will again gain the acceptance. So bank deposits are going to be totally useless, and that is a huge problem because people have to trust the banking system. People have to save their money in banks and fixed deposits, but no right person in India, I mean no person with right mind in India is willing to invest in banks now. Why? I will charge you 7.1% as a minimum to give you loan, but your saving account will get you maximum is 3.5 to 4%. Yes or no? So that, and inflation is what? Inflation is 7%. So even if I save 100 rupees, already I'm probably going to get 98 rupees or something, right? That means my real value is being eroded. So people want new avenues to invest. So that will affect the overall economy growth, long-term picture. Next, there is an article by Varun Gandhi in today's Indian Express. So this is purely mains perspective, but we'll try to think of some prelims questions in the line. Have you read this article? No? Hindu only, fine. So in this article, what he mentions with empirical data is that Indian Parliament is not functioning well. Okay. 18 bills in Lok Sabha were passed. He mentions data, right? 18 bills in Lok Sabha are passed with a discussion of 34 minutes. Okay. And the most, the bill with most limelight, that is the farmers bill, repeal took 8 minutes. He says with the data that in Rajya Sabha, it was discussed for 5 minutes. In Lok Sabha, it was discussed for 3 minutes. And he also says in India, there are around 250 MPs who declare themselves as farmers. Okay, so I'm a farmer. I'm not even discussing the farmers bill. Okay, so that means somebody introduced a farmers bill, then somebody decided to repeal it. What about the larger masses? Okay, why are you repealing it? What is your long-term strategy? Is there an application? Are you going to decentralize it? What are the steps you will take to revive agriculture? Because all of us know without agriculture, India cannot grow. So for such a bill to be repealed, we need to have a healthy debate. Yes or no? But the debate is not happening. These are the major issues he brings out. For example, he also, if you remember the legislative council discussion, there was an article who suggested that there should be all India legislative service. So what was my suggestion? Improving the existing ones or give money to institutes like PRS. So he brings that particular point where he says in UK, the MP's salary is 84,000 some pounds. Okay, but his research allowance is up to $216,000. That means his allowance is more than his salary. So they are hiring legislative advisors for me to discuss on a particular bill. In India, no such thing is happening. Okay, we need more discussions and debates in the parliament. Then he also brings in the anti-defection law. Anti-defection law we have discussed multiple times. Parliamentary standing committees. Parliamentary committees is important for prelims. You must have read. What are the various parliament committees? Who will table which bill? So on and so forth. Okay. Then he discusses about private members bill. Yes. So when can a private member bill be introduced? Srinivas? When can I introduce a private member bill? Anytime. If the parliament is in session, can I introduce a private member bill anytime I feel like introducing? Is there any specific criteria?
1 month prior notice.
Hmm?
1 month prior notice.
1 month or 15 days?
1 month.
1 month prior notice should be given. Okay, I have given 1 month prior notice. Then
Something like
Days are assigned.
Friday, some Friday on.
we have a Wednesday movie, we have a Thursday movie. I don't know Friday. Is there a movie Friday? Only Friday? Santosh?
3 days. Some 3 days.
Don't remember? Not revising polity? Every third Friday?
3 days in a week.
Only 3 days in a week. I don't think so. So tomorrow tell me. Private member bill. When can a private member bill be introduced? Yes. Have India passed any private member bill? Something is better than nothing. Clear? Private member bill, Lakshmikant stuff. You should know. No? Can no? No? Yes, Pratyusha? No revision. Forgot. It's totally fine. Now that you know that you don't know something, what will you do? You will refer that something. Yes. Next question. MP lad scheme. Is there any year marking in MP lad scheme? Year marking.
Pegging some amount, sir.
MP lad scheme money is given for 5 years, or every year 5 crores are given. Every 5 years 5 crores are given, not every year. Every year they are given. So even today it's 5 crores. Now what is the no? What is the present status of MP lad scheme? How much amount of money is given to each MP? Does it have any special year marking? That means you have to spend certain amount of money on a specific thing. Is there something like that? Next, is it lapsable? I have given you, let's say 5 crores this year. You did not use this money. Will it lapse for next year, or you'll still have 5 crores? Lapse हो जाएगा? They have to use it for capital development. Okay, is there a discretion for the minister?
Yes, sir, there is a discussion for the minister
Okay.
with the help of the district.
So is there any earmarking for marginal and weaker sections of the society?
Yes, sir.
Till what percentage? MP lad question was asked in
2020.
AD. Long ago. It was like 3rd century BC. It's just below 3rd century BC, 2020. That old. So it's okay. You don't know MP lads. Okay.
I think it's 7.5.
Why 7.5, Uma?
Just
कुछ भी.
no, not
Why 7.5? Why 15%?
What I seriously thought is like I saw the question, sir, but that was very much relevant for that particular year. MP lad is a evergreen topic, right? MP lad was not relevant for that year. MP lad was always in every time in the year. That year it got more lucky. So if you actually see the newspapers, MP lad is some or the other time always in the news. Okay, that year it was more in the news. It could have made or it could have been avoided. Luckily, it made into the paper. That's the only difference. Your job as an aspirant is to
read it every time. We cannot say Narega 2005 old current affairs. No, right? Yes. Any other features of MPLADS? Natural calamities, MPLADS can be used.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
And also to promote regional integration,
Hmm.
one MP of one particular district can also
Very good question.
spend on the other district.
Other district. Let's say I'm an MP from Hyderabad. Okay, Santosh. I want to. I was very bad. I felt very bad with the drought situation in some other state. Let's say Rajasthan or floods in Kerala. Can I give MPLAD fund to Rajasthan or Kerala? She raised that topic, Umang. Not me.
Sir, I think
I
there is
cannot.
an earmarking on to spend on local.
Local only. I cannot give money out of the my constituency.
I think the naming itself is
MPLADS.
local area development.
So
So
what happens when we use too much common sense in UPSC paper solving? Most of the times we will go wrong. No
contingencies.
contingency. Trust anything but your common sense. At least in Prince Hall, right? Why? It's not only you. Even I cannot believe my common sense. If I feel 2 + 2 is 4 or something like that, then I will go wrong. So if the name is saying MPLAD, then that discussion should not have come. Instead of having a name like Member of Parliament, Local Area Development, if I'm asking, can I give some money to outside the state, then the discussion must have come somewhere. Yes or no? Which defeats our entire common sense. Okay, so tomorrow tell me all this, whether MPLAD funds can be given to outside area or not. Okay, in the same vein, I want to ask one more prelims question. As a Lok Sabha, I want to contest as a Lok Sabha MP. Can I go to Varanasi or can I go to some other constituency and stand? Do I need to be a member of that particular state? I mean, do I need to be a voter in that particular state, or anybody can stand from anywhere for Lok Sabha? I want to stand as an MP in Rajasthan. Is that allowed?
Yes, sir, it is allowed.
No objections.
No objections.
Okay. As a Rajya Sabha member, my voter card is from Hyderabad. I can go to Rajasthan and stand as a Lok Sabha MP. My voter ID is from Andhra Pradesh, or sorry, Hyderabad.
For Rajya Sabha, they have to be a
State
voter
member.
in that particular state.
Sure.
Sure, sir. Because-
Which is
Representation of
states.
Hmm.
Okay. So for Rajya Sabha, it is not valid, but for Lok Sabha, it is valid. Lok Sabha,
Lok Sabha does not require
Bar.
that hard and fast rule. Right? You can contest from.
okay. Do I need to be a registered voter to contest?
Yes.
elections?
Yes.
Either Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha.
Yes.
What is the age for Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha?
25, sir.
For
Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha 20.
Rajya Sabha, it's
30.
30, sir.
35.
30, 35, 40,
No,
45.
35.
Where will you find all this secretive information? You have to go to Nampalli. In assembly, you have to file RTI. Or you can open. Yes, you can open Lakshmi card. 25 for Lok Sabha, 30 for
Rajya Sabha.
Rajya Sabha. Okay. What is the last private members bill that has been passed in the country? Any idea? Did anyone introduce a private member bill recently?
Shashi Tharoor.
Recently, latest current affairs. Shashi Tharoor is old. What did he introduce?
It was related to some language.
It wasn't that okay. Recently, only we have discussed
BJP.
this. Supriya Sule, someone Maharashtra, she introduced a bill, private member bill.
What that famous name?
Okay, Shashi Tharoor and Supriya Sule talking. Okay. The very famous private member bill that was introduced was Tiruchi Siva from Tamil Nadu, who introduced the transgenders bill. So after that, there are multiple bills which have been introduced as a private members bill. Obviously, no bill was taken. Recently, Supriya Sule also have introduced a private member bill, it seems.
I don't remember, sir. But Supriya Sule, no, sir, she did not interview.
It was related to something women or children. Okay, we'll find it out, no problem. MP Lad, tomorrow tell me what is the present status of MP Lad. 2 crores or 5 crores? Sushmita, kal bata dena. Anti-defection la, all of you know the story. I don't have to repeat myself. Yes, there was also Article 142 linkage. Okay. Next, what is the formula or what is the logic for 543 Lok Sabha seats? Why 543 only or why 545?
So it's a constitutional obligation.
Mhm.
There is an article that talks about the composition of Lok Sabha. Sir.
Mhm. So what is so special about that composition? What does it do?
It specifies the maximum number of.
Why 545? Why 550? Some that is my question. Mhm.
So the delimitation is fixed at past population. So
Fixed.
the delimitation was halted till 2026 now.
Uh-huh. But why? Why 545? What is the logic? See, if I say constituency, what am I trying to achieve in the constituency? Why bifurcate it into different constituencies? Why maintain that number?
Population, number of population represented by particular MP.
Mhm. I think area is geography is not a factor. Population representation. Each MP should have equal representation. That means throughout the country, all these MPs are representing more or less equal population. So that is the logic behind the delimitation, right? So what is the census used there should also be a question. What is the census we use?
71.
71. 1971 or 91?
91.
Sure. Till what year we have stopped the delimitation?
2026.
Okay. So basically, MP wise, see, geography wise, if you take Ladakh is a very big constituency, Ghaziabad is a big constituency, Malkajgiri in Hyderabad is a very big constituency. I think population is different from voters. So he talks about all these things. It's a very good article for your GS paper to me. When you clear prelims, you can just mug up all the data from this article and write a very good answer on why Indian Parliament is not functioning properly. So what we need is, we need a change from political masters where they are willing to take the questions and accountability, or else we can keep on passing the bill. Now that BJP government have a very good majority both in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, there is not a single bill which they cannot pass. Okay, but we need good debates. The same topic has also been discussed by Chief Justice of India, Mr. Ramna, where he says, if you don't debate properly, we don't know the intention of the bill and we cannot give proper judgments. So that is also why we need to have more discussion. Okay.
Before legislative consultation, we ask Supreme Court, then we can avoid so many.
Then again, separation of powers will be diluted, right? Every time Supreme Court has to intervene. See, that is the responsibility of the legislature, right? They also are the beneficiaries of the constitution principles. So they are responsible for upholding the constitution. If I pass a bill very well, knowing that, it has some loopholes or dilutes the constitutional principles, then why am I passing it? Purely for populistic measures. If a case goes to, let's say, a particular state have passed some reservation for minorities or for some other community, and it goes to Supreme Court, then Supreme Court says you cannot cross 50%. Okay, you very well know that it is going to be squashed by the Supreme Court, but then why did you pass that bill? To appease the masses? That means you are not doing your duty as a constitutional body, as a legislature, right? So you are putting everything on the shoulders of judiciary. So that is not a good thing. So even if you take today, Supreme Court has said that, you know, the demolition that is happening in a slum in Delhi should be stopped. In spite of that, it went on. So then why will people respect Supreme Court? You get the majoritarian idea, right? Once you start riding a wave, it's hard to say why you cannot stop it. See, perhaps the single biggest wonderful argument I have heard about Supreme Court of India is this. Supreme Court also knows that there will come a time or a decision or a statement which the populist majority will question Supreme Court's authority. That means if I give a judgment which is against the wishes of, let's say, Prime Minister or the particular political party or the agenda, okay, then the masses might start saying, you know, I won't appreciate it. What will you do? So that is why Supreme Court is always delicate in handling certain issues. For example, Diwali crackers. Supreme Court says you can use the crackers, but only up to certain time, so on and so forth. But it did not go for total ban or something. Why? If people as a mass start saying, you know, I won't respect your judgment, what will you do? I can arrest 1 person, 2 person. I cannot arrest 10 crore people. Then the entire institutional mechanism will crumble. So Supreme Court is very well aware that once the majoritarian wave is on the rise, there is a limited thing that it can do. Okay. Yeah. So no religious processions without nod. There is this Azan controversy that is happening in the country. Like if you use mics for Azan, I will also use mics for Hanuman Chalisa. Now, same time, as long as you don't tone down, I will also, I mean, an eye for an eye will make the whole world blind. Again, it depends on which side of the coin you are on. Yes or no? But Central Pollution Control Board, Air Pollution Act, I think also have a provision for noise pollution, right? So that is probably some tool that the state can use. Now, that there should be a decibel limit so that anybody can pray, any religion can pray. This is a secular country, everybody can do whatever they want to do, but within the limited restrictions. So if you are playing a bhajan, that bhajan should be restricted more or less to temple and 10 feet from the temple or something. Same applies to mosque. Same will apply to church, Gurudwara. So everybody is treated equally. So that is also one statement. Okay. Again, in my personal humble opinion, apart from classes, I think this is a pure distraction away from inflation and petrol prices. So as long as I don't want the social engineering to discuss these issues, I will social engineer elsewhere. Yes or no? So once petrol prices or inflation is back under control, probably I will focus my attention back on economy. So this is not something, right? I mean, there are elections in certain North Indian states. So everything will fit the macro agenda. But again, too much noise pollution in the, see, we cannot be too liberal if somebody is crossing a line, right? Yes, you can definitely have Azan, but if 10 mics are roaring in one colony because there are 10 mosques or something like that, it will create too much of noise. Yes. Your intention is to convey your religious belief that yes, at this particular time I'm conveying my religious beliefs. You please come and perform your duties. So that is the purpose, not to, you know, propagate or all these things. And again, there are enough cases on both the sides. There have been misuses, abuses. So that is why, you know, this kind of discussions will happen. Yes. Anything else?
World Health Organization, Global Center for Traditional Medicine.
Ayush visa.
Yes. So I was surprised to know that Ayush
Gujarat.
is being, it's always considered as an
Alternative medicine.
But now World Health Organization is acknowledging this.
See, it is not actually surprising, right? The other day also we have discussed Kenyan Prime Minister daughter, she lost her eyesight. Okay, so they traveled throughout the world. Then they came to Kerala. Now her eyesight is restored. So Ayurveda has a good advantage over the traditional medicine. It has the inherent value system, but it has to be it is not something that you find on the roadside, right? Every shop is an Ayurvedic shop. That is not what Ayurveda is. And the other day also, you mentioned something like there are some meat eaters who are, very calm, and non-vegetarians who are very aggressive. So that day also I wanted to discuss this point. If you think of Indian way of life, okay, Indian way of life, not the present one, the ones that sages have given. I think they are problem solvers. Let's think about it. They ask you to wake up at a very early time, let's say 4 a.m. They want you to eat very sattvic food. Okay, meditate, dhyan, practice. Like we have given meditation to you, yoga to you. If someone actually practices everything in totality, not cherry pick, I will only do yoga for my my physical appearance, but not for anything. If you see any celebrity nowadays, everybody is half of their pics will be either in gym or yoga. Why? Because a normal average citizen don't have so much time for gym and yoga, so they desire such physical traits. Okay, I need to have 6-pack ab, 8-pack ab. So that is why we idealize them, right? In the hero, the rest of the time he's happily spending in gym. That is not something that a normal person can do. So yoga and all these things have been reduced to a physical exercise, but it is a way of life. Yoga will say you moksha, meditation will say moksha, pranayama will say moksha. Everything, the food you eat is for moksha. Okay, then how you practice? For example, the practice part from 4 a.m. to let's say 7 a.m. Then the application part, you pray, you worship. Even in the worship, you are meditating, repeating the same mantra for a lot amount of time. So that if you practice this entire cycle for the entire your life, you won't get any NCD. You probably will not be angry, right? I mean, think about it. If I really eat all these things, my dietary will be very healthy. My lifestyle will be very healthy. I will be more energetic. I will be pursuing the divinity or whatever it is, in a proper form. Then if you bring Bhagavad Gita, it says, do your work without any expectation. If I know that my goal is moksha, then why am I worried about worldly pleasures? If you give me salary, it's fine, or else also it's fine. So that means we have created an ecosystem where entire thing is driven towards moksha, so that nobody will have any desire towards materialistic pleasures, but everybody will be doing the best of their work. If I give you some work, you do it 100% with everything you got. And who is that 100%? You are a person who follows meditation, yoga, and you are very active in body and mind. So you can perform a job very well. At the same time, you are not having any desires. So such a lifestyle will probably create a very good society. Again, I'm speaking from a privileged position. A farmer cannot do all these things. Yes or no? I'm not saying that everybody can do this, but there is a tool which everybody can practice. Even a farmer doesn't need to do probably yoga, but he can do pranayama or meditation or something, right? Because he's already doing a lot of physical work. So every section of the society, irrespective of who they are, can take what is good for them. So if I do all these things, then if I'm angry, then yes, whatever you said is true. But I watch all the shit in the TVs. I read newspapers, I read WhatsApp papers. I am very angry 24/7. In the morning, I will wake up and say, oh, it does not make me a peaceful person. Yes or no? I'm brainwashed for 23 hours. I'm meditating for 1 hour. I don't think it will counterbalance, right? So everything that is designed in Indian way of life, not Hindu way of life, Indian way of life is for this particular reason that it makes you a whole person, a complete person. What we call ikigai was already there for us, but we are not implementing it. So we cannot cherry pick and say, Umang is a very good worshipper. Umang cannot be angry. But all Umang will do from day and night is forward WhatsApp messages. Then how can she be at peace? Yes or no? So that box, the way of life thing is missed. I think that is where people, and very quick comments on yoga or Ayurveda will also come. For example, as a fun, we can say if Prime Minister or Home Minister or some other minister gets a health issue, why is not going to Ayurveda hospital? That is not the Ayurveda, right? Ayurveda is a very clear-cut science. It says from early childhood onwards, from day one onwards, from your diet all the way till the water you drink, everything has to be clean. You have to practice that. Suddenly you have developed the NCD, then you came to Ayurveda, it cannot treat you overnight. So Ayurveda is a way of life. If you practice it, it will protect you. Obviously, right? NCDs can be reduced, but 60% of Indian diseases are NCD. Why are they coming? Because we have forgot all our traditional roots. We prefer lace chips over, let's say, ragi chips. Nobody wants to eat ragi chips. Why? They're boring, they're dull. Lace chips, spicy masala. I hope you got the picture, right? So that balance thing is not being discussed in the country. So everybody is cherry picking. Ayush. So even the government is more or less doing the same thing, right? It is promoting some part of Ayush system. It has to promote the entire healthy lifestyle system. Prevention is better than cure, right? So if you don't want people to have NCD, Ayurveda will help, but at the same time, the entire ways of life, all the philosophies that Patanjali has given us, or other munis have given us, everything has to collate. Then I think people will have more healthy lifestyles. So it's better to prevent than cure. So Ayush now is promoted. I'm not surprised, but I'm worried that it should not be commercialized. It should be a selfless service. Only then it will actually thrive. But that very negative, narrow opinion that Ayurveda will work, or it should be compared with Western science, and probably we haven't done enough research on Ayurveda, right? And unfortunately, due to commercialization, if I go to any Ayurvedic shop, they will give this brown or black color pill. All pills look the same to my eyes. I honestly can't judge it, but I don't know. And there is a huge market that is going in the name of Ayurveda, right? If you go to every other medical shop, every third shop is a Ayurvedic store or an organic store. Only Ayurvedic product. What? Yes. So I think somebody has to take that proper in charge and bring that legitimacy back to Ayurvedic stuff rather than market it, commercialize it. Okay. So poison pill, you need to have a basic idea. What is poison pill, which was in the news? Have you heard about poison pill? It is a strategy adopted by Twitter in response to Elon Musk's offer. Not UPSC worthy, definitely not UPSC worthy, but remember what is poison pill. Poison pill is a marketing strategy. If your time is really bad, just like last year cricket question, if you see something in the prelims are like, what is poison pill? This paper is poison pill. Yes, yeah, no. Okay. So think about B, C, and D, which might give you a marketing strategy where shareholding is diluted. Poison pill is a concept where shareholding is diluted so that no single person can own enough number of shares to become dominant in the company. Okay. So normally Ayush, we have seen what are the various treatments that are covered under Ayush, which ministry? Ayush ministry. So and all those things have a bare minimum idea.
Sir, there are some technologies like nanotechnology.
Mm-hmm.
Once the development happens in the technology, it will revolutionize all other technology. It will have a positive ripple effects on all other technologies.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there any keyword for that kind of thing?
Positive spillover effect or
for that technology, sir? I mean, tweaking them or let's say it's a quantum technology. A positive outcome from the ongoing research can be a breakthrough, and it can actually revolutionize the way we live also, maybe in coming years. So
no idea. Probably they might have introduced some word post-apocalyptic world, because by the time nanotechnology will come, what will happen? Climate change will kill. Yes, seventh great mass extinction. No, nobody will be there to read that. So star rating for packaged food unlikely to help, says experts. In March 2022, Niti Aayog has brought in a recommendation which says fat tax or sugar tax should be introduced. Kind of. But here the concept is more about lifestyle taxes, fat tax. So what happens? I will tax more on sugar products, carbonated products. So it's a behavioral change, right? It's a nudge that the state is trying to bring. In the same line, Health Star rating is trying to be adopted by Food Safety Standards Authority of India. What do they do? They will give you 2 stars, like this is this is bad, this is really bad for your health. If this is purely organic or something, 5 stars. So as a consumer who is used to Amazon, 4 star, okay, 4.5 star, yes, blindly I will start eating probably all these chips, salted beverages or carbonated beverages will be 2 stars or 2.5 stars, but an organic drink might get 4.5 stars. Then people might start drinking organic things. Okay, that is the hope, at least. Will this work?
Choke someone's right to do business.
Will this choke someone's right to do business? Okay, I'm not saying them not to do business, right? I'm saying that your business is unhealthy, probably you should move towards healthy. Or
What about doctrine of colorable legislation?
doctrine of colorable legislations, why that? No.
I wouldn't say don't consume, but I'm also saying it's good if you don't consume.
So what should not be
And
done
indirectly
properly if
taking.
I'm dying indirectly? The same is with the fat tax. So if I tax the rich, am I saying them to make less money? Then
Actually, this might work, sir. This might work.
This might work.
At least for me.
So then I think Competition Commission of India will come into the picture a lot.
Why?
Because one brand, it's somehow brand promotion also will happen, so with the star labeling.
So the star rating will be given on the basis of nutrition values, your product, by Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, right? You are not self-labeling yourself. So let's say Umang is 3 star, you will also say 3 star. All chips packets are 3 star, good or bad. That is coterie. That is where Competition Commission of India can come. But your products are based on fox millet or some millets or ragi, bajra, jowra. So I will give you 4.5 stars where she is using potato, only salt and sugar. So I will give her 3 stars. Then, right? But the thing is, are consumers so aware that they will start eating food only on the basis of these ratings? Yes, in Kerala, in Western countries also, they have introduced this carbureted taxes. This is the salt sugar based taxes. So in Australia, in Denmark, so many other countries, they have introduced these taxes where they will charge the cool drinks very highly. In India, cool drink is cheaper rather than a water bottle. Have you thought about it? Yes. So am I incentivizing the carbonated drinks? I'm thirsty. So if I have to make water consumable again, or water the first priority, water bottle is 10 rupees, every other bottle is minimum 14 rupees. Then if I'm thirsty, probably my first choice will be water. That is again a thought process. This can also be seen from constitutional angle, where I'm saying, am I restricting your food choices? That is where your argument can come in, not in the form of colorable legislation, but in the format of my choice. I want to die, I want to drink cool drink. Okay, so are you restricting my choice of drinking cool drink?
It's only letting you know that this will happen.
But you are pushing it away from my reach, right? Are you deciding my food choices?
It's not reach, sir. I think we are making the water bottle cheaper.
You are not making the water bottle cheaper. You are making everything else costlier. So water bottle is appearing cheap.
So syntax is again. Then if
Syntax is for sin goods, right? Here, food is not a sin good.
then probably the person who's consuming liquor can also say that
What?
you are taking my rights.
That is sin good. Alcohol, tobacco products are sin goods. You cannot come and say,
So again, that depends on that is perception also. if we go to a doctor, if
Hmm.
you go to Ayurvedic doctor and say I'm eating lace chips, then they perceive it as some poison,
Hmm.
which is actually poisoning many people,
Hmm.
and that is their own perception.
Mhm.
Then this deciding this particular good as sin good or normal good is again perception.
Mhm. Yes, but that is for the state to decide. But universally, tobacco products, alcohol products are considered sin good.
Maybe the days might come when people start saying like
Already there are
gluten.
days, right?
If there is 3% gluten,
Cannabis products are good for health. There is a huge movement in USA where cannabis stores are there. Cannabis cake is there. Yeah. Basically, yeah. Millennials. Weed. Weed. Yes. Hmm. So what should be the best way forward? Taxing carbonated drinks. Is it okay? So again, here the concept is it's all about nudge. So there is a I mean they have one Nobel economics prize also. The concept is, let's say in USA if there is a school canteen, the kids will start from here, all they will end up here, right? Like your marriages, typical marriages, you'll start with what is it, rumalika roti, and you will end up with rice. So less people will consume rice, more people will consume what?
Roti.
Rumalika roti. So the moment you start eating the roti, the maida, your tummy will be full, you will eat less food. So in the school also, they have this carbonated drinks, chips packets in the beginning, and they had these fruits in the end. So what they did is switch the places. They did not say the students not to eat the food or not to eat the carbonated things or packaged things. All they did is change the places. The very first thing you see when you enter the room is fruits. So according to research, 20 to 40% of increase of fruits have happened because of this small change that is called as nudge effect. Okay, this was way back in 2009. Then in recent times, economic survey has also popularized this behavioral economics, where people should be nudged to change their behaviors. So in that sense, for a culture to be developed, to move towards organic food or healthy food, in the initial years, if I charge these companies at a higher rates, it's okay. But once the behavioral change is happening or happened, that people prefer water, juices over cool drinks, then even if I remove the taxes, they probably won't buy. That can be one argument. Okay. Honestly speaking, a fruit bowl company cannot compete with Coca-Cola or Lay's chips. The marketing is unbelievable. Yes or no? So in that sense, yes, it's totally worth to tax them at a higher rate. The better thing is to bring behavioral change and awareness. Introduce the value of nutritional diversity, diet in school books. Teach the parents. Create a culture of society where being fit is accepted, or being healthy is accepted. You have diabetes, I have sugar. Everybody is happy. That is not the next generation of Indians we want. Yes or no?
I think creating, I mean, some solution has to be there. No, sir. Creating is a very plain statement.
Hmm.
I think how do we actually inculcate that culture in schools?
I can introduce ragi biscuits in midday meal scheme. Or I can encourage self-help groups. Yesterday there was an article I shared it in Parivartana also. In Gadchiroli,
Yes,
they are
sir.
bringing this khichdi, the laddu. Okay, so as a kid, if I mix it, fruit dry laddu or a local variety laddu or ragi laddu. See, every region has its own nutritional food, right? Yes or no? Even the banana powder, the raw banana powder is considered as a superfood. Okay, there are many things that we don't know. What we call as novel podi, I don't know what it is called in English. Sesame seeds, right? So even they are very, very nutritious, especially for women when it comes to bone weight and all those things. So we are not, we have the food, we are not popularizing it or generating awareness. Only when something happens, when we go to the doctor, then he will say, do this, don't do that. I think that has to be brought in. Go back to Bharatiyata. Yes, this is some Bharatiyata that I can support. Supreme Court Okay, I think these are the major questions, right? And there is one more article where people are dying in Africa, Somalia. The Horn of Africa is not receiving rain. People are dying. Okay, so we don't even know where Horn of Africa is. You know? No? Kyle? Either. Either. Where is that? So it is also a hot spot for global terrorism. The Horn of Somalia is having Al-Shabaab. So if more people are hunger, poor, there is a very good article by Bloomberg. It seems they have captured the pictures. Thousands of cow, cattle, goat. They have all perished already. People are not even having food. The malnourishment is just like what we imagine Africa. When we think of an African kid, we look at a small baby with all the bones exposed. Same to same. So that is happening right now in the Horn of Africa. And they are saying that these countries were heavily dependent on the Black Sea countries for food and other materials. Now that Russia and Ukraine are fighting, that is a direct impact on these nations. The world needs to come together to create at least a 1.5 billion chest to support these nations. But till now, spectacularly, they have received $44.7 million, it seems, or 47. But that goal was $1.5 billion, but they have received only 4. Okay, we don't see UNSC resolutions and all these things on these issues. Why?
Doesn't matter.
Nobody even knows that these things are happening. Yes or no? Human rights are selective, subjective, and cherry pick. Let people die. Yes. Yes. Anything else?
The term regarding cryptocurrency in
I don't know why he wrote that article, cryptocurrency, yesterday, right? Arun Kumar. I should call him and ask him what was your problem.
you were the term double spending, sir. I did not know.
Ah, sorry.
Can this be a plain question? Double spending is related to what?
Then people will start bashing UPSC. I do remember knowing about that double spending. There was a concept where actually forgot about it. But there are 3 principles to Bitcoin. That is non-reciprocability. That means once you send, it's a one-way transaction. Double spending. There is one more thing. I will let you know tomorrow. Anything else?
There was a question that said if antimicrobial resistance is communicable. I marked it wrong, but the answer sheet said yes.
Antimicrobial resistance is communicable. So, I mean, see, this is purely hypothetical. Let's imagine you have developed a new strain of TB. You will spread that version from that point onwards, right?
But the resistance itself is not.
But antimicrobial resistance, that bacteria. I mean, the question was like, will that bacteria can be transferred?
No, sir. It said antimicrobial resistance and 1, 2, 3. And the third point was it is communicable. I marked it wrong, but you said it is.
So there are 2 ways to understand this. One is if I eat a chicken which is heavily infused with antibiotics, then I'm actually technically promoting the antimicrobial resistance. So that is contagious in their understanding. Or if I develop some resistance, and if I'm promoting some new kind of thing, I'm actually being a host to that. That can also be one way to understand. Yeah.